Order. Questions for oral answer. Question number 1, Tim Macindoe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Finance. What economic and fiscal conditions is the government factoring into its planning for Budget 2016 on the 26th of May?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr. Speaker, as the Prime Minister said in his pre-budget speech today, Budget 2016 will be delivered with a backdrop of a growing economy, more jobs and higher incomes. Notwithstanding the challenges for the dairy industry, most New Zealand forecasters are predicting growth of around 3% on average over the next few years. With respect to the government's books, we've moved from an $18.4 billion deficit to a surplus in 2014-15, and as long as we remain fiscally prudent, we're on track to reduce net debt to around 20% of GDP by 2020.
Supplementary question.
Supplementary question, Tim Macindoe.
Thank you, sir. How is this outlook translating into growth for particular sectors of the economy?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr. Speaker, the fortunes of the export sector are particularly important for New Zealand, and despite the dairy downturn, we are seeing continued export growth. Despite a $3 billion fall in dairy exports, Stats New Zealand reports that in 2015 total exports rose $1.9 billion, even with that decrease in dairy exports. Important factors in this were a $2.3 billion increase in spending by international visitors and an increase of just under $900 million of meat exports. Other exports are also growing: international education and wine.
Supplementary question.
Supplementary question, Tim Macindoe.
What challenges does the New Zealand economy face given fluctuating global conditions?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr. Speaker, despite forecasts of continued reasonable growth, nothing, of course, is guaranteed. In the latest World Economic Outlook, the International Monetary Fund has reduced its global growth forecasts yet again, highlighting China's slowdown, the impact of low oil prices on emerging markets such as Brazil, and persistent economic weakness in Japan, Europe and the US. But New Zealand needs to understand the impact of these on our situation rather than just the headline numbers.
Supplementary question, Tim Macindoe.
Thank you, sir. What initiatives does Budget 2016 include to support the growth of small businesses?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr. Speaker, today the Prime Minister announced a range of adjustments in the tax system that are friendly to small businesses. These will reduce compliance costs and make tax simpler for small businesses. This is just the latest initiative we've introduced. Others include cutting ACC levies by around $2 billion since 2011, introducing 90-day trials and starting out wage, and making it easier for businesses to interact with government.
Supplementary question, Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Minister, why has it taken the government so long to adopt a brilliant policy of removing provisional tax with business PAYE, announced by New Zealand First on July 15th last year?
The Honourable Bill English.
What's that, Mr. Speaker? Well, Mr. Speaker, because...
Order.
First, we announced it before New Zealand First, and secondly, we actually have to do it.
Order. Question.